Welcome to Microsoft Services Hub, a new online digital experience that empowers you and your team to maximize your Microsoft support investment. Once you've signed up for Services Hub, you and your team will connect, save time, and achieve more. Getting started with Services Hub is easy, and this video will provide an overview of the process, the different user roles involved, and the unique permissions and activities for each of those roles. The Services Hub onboarding starts when your organization signs up for a Microsoft support contract that includes Services Hub as an offering. Once the contract is complete, Services Hub sends an invitation to the Customer Services Manager listed in the contract, asking them to register and log in to Services Hub. This user is referred to as the Services Administrator. Once registered, the Services Admin has full administrative rights to manage their Services Hub default workspace. If additional workspaces are needed, the Services Admin works with their Microsoft Technical Account Manager to get those created. The Services Admin can delegate the management of their Services Hub workspaces to one or more global administrators. These global admins will have all the same permissions as the Services Admin, but cannot open a support case unless the Services Admin designates them as a support contact on the Manage Users page. Next, the Services Admin or Global Admin invites different types of users to their workspaces. They use the Manage Users page to invite users, set granular feature and data access permissions, and designate workspace admins and support contacts. An Azure administrator or contributor will register, then learn about the Services Hub and on-demand assessments. Then configure a workspace to link to your organization's Azure Log Analytics to enable exclusive on-demand assessments. Then they'll enable other users to run on-demand assessments. A workspace admin will register, then have full rights to manage user access and workspace permissions for their specific workspace. They will also view all support cases and contract details for their workspace. A support contact will register, then validate their support access ID. Then they can verify incident creation on the Microsoft Premier Online portal and view any open support cases for their specific workspace. Finally, Services Hub users will register and take advantage of the features and data that they can access based on their workspace permissions. After all user types have registered, they can review their welcome plan by logging into Services Hub and navigating to the Services tab and selecting Plans. Then review the tasks in the plan, then explore the Services Hub and all the great features it has to offer. And finally, learn more by visiting the Services Hub Customer Resource Center at the link displayed here. This concludes our overview of the onboarding process and the different roles involved in the Services Hub. Microsoft Services Hub. Connect, save time, and achieve more.